This is QuickGeek. Here's your tech news, South Africa.
Lasers through diamonds to produce random numbers.
What is that?
So some guys came across using quantum, like electromagnetic effect, you can generate completely and utterly random numbers.
So not pseudo-random like we've got in PCs right now?
Because in PCs, what the whole point of the random number generation of PCs is that you have to keep an even distribution, and what will happen is a random number series will actually repeat itself. And this is horrible when it comes to crypto and generating your initial security certificates and things like that. So what these guys do is they then shine the laser through a diamond, and diamond's very good for this kind of quantum field effects and things like that, especially for like electrons within the diamond. And doing so, then when you measure the laser beam on the resulting end point, then you have completely random intermix with your laser photon field.
How wide is that field?
Not very.
So your random generations is but your random generation is in what?
Oh, well, it's for anything, for infinite value.
Okay.
So now that you don't have repeating fields or repeating numbers or anything that can repeat or anything to do with something that's not random, then
much more secure.
Yeah, exactly. So.
That's quite cool. And they actually do this for computers. You can actually generate certificates
not
of this stuff.
quite just yet, but that will be the idea.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So what, are we going to have laser guns in our computers?
That would be interesting.
At the certificate authorities.
Yeah. Well, and then to couple with that, if we are going to move away from the certificate authority kind of setup, then if you can produce your own certificates that are super world class, go for it. It'll make the internet a better place.
Cool. Yeah, and in other news?
Well, this week, Sony CEO Jim Ryan came out and said, the Vita, the PSP was very confusing when we launched it first to consumers. We didn't market it correctly and so on. So with the PS Vita, we're going to be much more focused and, make sure people know exactly what they can and can't do with it and so on. But, one of our MyGaming journalists thought to themselves, hang on a minute, Sony's marketing campaigns over the years have always been a bit odd. I wonder how they're going to top themselves. And some examples, which we put together, were... this guy is sharing a urinal. It's sort of a play on sharing your own PSP or whatever. But in the past, they did racist adverts comparing the new PSP White to the PSP Black. They took a stab at religion. The crown of thorns made up of the classic circle, triangle, square, X of the Sony controller.
Yeah,
even weird
into passion.
Yes, exactly, linking it to passion. Even weird sexual fetishes. Weird Japanese men sniffing triangular-shaped panties with X, circle, and square-shaped panties strewn around their disheveled-looking hovels that they live in. It's very strange.
Abstract advertising.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never quite associated pressing the triangle with something like that. But anyway, moving on.
Brings new meaning to pressing the triangle.
They even advertised in Playboy where they had a semi-nude man, and instead of his member, he had a thumb for a digit. Because you use your thumb a lot when you're playing with your PlayStation controller, I guess. So yeah, this was that was the most. We got, I think, 8 Picard face palms on that last one to indicate the level of strange.
Excellent, excellent. By the way, the link will be in the show notes at the bottom of the video, so go and look down there. We didn't want to show it in the sense of the viewers. All right, so the next cool thing that happened is that the first demonstration of inkjet-printed graphene electronics was reported in an MIT publication. And, well, what that means that you can basically use an inkjet printer to print electronics now. And the challenge in the past has always been, it's not that it's not been possible, but it's always been very poor quality stuff that comes out of it.
Electronics or electronic circuits?
Yes, electronic circuits. So think of like a printed circuit board. You won't be able to print a piece of silicon, I think. That's doping is a very different process. So yeah, I'm just asking. So these are printed circuit boards, but it's also a very neat way to just prototype a PCB, and then you put your
components in and off you go
on that. Yeah, exactly. So very, very neat.
Will it become consumer? Is this technology like high end, or is this something that could go consumer?
I think just like 3D printing right now it's something that can go consumer. So, and I think that's the idea, is to be able, but I mean, what kind of consumer is going to, yes, exactly. So it's for the geeks, 3D printing in electronics, this is something that geeks will want to do. And it's important to have technology out there that can do that, like Arduino, processors that you can hack with and stuff, just be able to be a hobbyist, with stuff like this. Very important stuff. Cool. Next up.
Okay, well, just a bit of local, gaming connectivity news. Those gamers that have maybe recently moved over to Web Africa's Uncapped or thinking about doing it, Web Africa just revealed that they're going to not include their FreeZone service as part of the acceptable usage policy on the Uncapped. So the acceptable usage policy will dictate, how you get throttled, depending on how much data you shove through your Uncapped connection. Web Africa's FreeZone provides gamers with an area that they can download patches and various other gaming-related stuff, and also through their Steam servers. It's a bit fiddly to set up, but you can get it going with not too much difficulty, actually. So basically, that data from the FreeZone will not count towards your Uncapped.
And gaming on the wage servers, is that counted as part of FreeZone?
Yeah, I'm actually asked those questions, and hopefully we'll have some answers on that shortly.
Cool. All right, and then the big one.
Local loop unbundling scope document got released today.
Yes. This is 4 years worth of work that's gone into this, supposedly. So this is something that was first started by Ivy Matsepi-Katsaburi, the ex-former Minister of Communications, who is also deceased. She got started with the whole local loop unbundling process, and the working groups that fed into this process said that by November 2011, LLU needs to be finished. It needs to be done. And local loop unbundling, for those who aren't familiar with the term yet, that's basically separating the copper infrastructure that runs from your house to the telecom exchange.
No, I've got to challenge you. I was at the local loop unbundling for 3 days. It is regarding the last mile.
Yes, the last mile. However,
it could also be wireless.
Yeah. However, the article has not been published, but the wireless operators are off the hook.
For now.
So they've decided
it's not been published yet. It will be probably by the time this video goes live. So you can go check that out on my broadband. Shameless plug here, but it'll be there. So now, basically, the scope document it's such a disappointment to us and to industry. We thought that at the very least, ICASA would have instituted something like bitstream access, which is not really local loop unbundling. It's not full local loop unbundling, but people regard it as a form of local loop unbundling. It's like what we've got with the normal ADSL IP Connect. I know these are very technical terms, and you can look them up. But suffice it to say that this is the stuff that's in industry at the moment. Bitstream access is not something that's unique to South Africa, and it's something that the industry has been asking for. Yes. And what else has been asked for is naked ADSL by MWeb. And for those who do have ADSL connections and keep track of the news, you would have seen MWeb's naked ADSL push. And there's been disappointments there as well. And so ICASA has actually said that they'll look at having a new deadline for bitstream access November next year. 1st of November next year is when we can look forward to bitstream access. They will sit next year and start discussing the challenges presented by full local loop unbundling. So in effect, what has happened after, at the deadline for full local loop unbundling in South Africa is nothing.
Yet more deadlines and consultation processes. And
what's happened in the last 6 months than the previous 4 years?
And I would argue that is thanks largely to Roy Potgieter cracking the whip when he entered the fray.
So let's see what happens. I mean, if you haven't been, look for the rest of the videos on our network. Just do a search for us. You can see some of the local loop unbundling public hearings that we did cover as part of Let's Talk Network. Go through them. I know it's a bit consuming as long stuff, but go through them, have a look, and you can get an idea of what happened at those public hearings.
Yeah. And just to make mention of it, Roy Potgieter, the minister that kicked this off when he became minister, he's no longer Minister of Communications. Dina Pule now needs to carry the torch forward and see through what has been started.
Found our live, find our full shows, have a watch. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.